Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Table of Geeks. I am Jose, and I am joined once again by Coots,
Hello.
Allie,
Hello.
and the other one, um, Emma.
Adios.
Goodbye. Just that was a short episode.
So, today we are going to be talking about anime. Some of us
Yes.
have been anime fans since forever. Some of us only watched anime in the 90s, back in ye olden days. And some of us aren't really into anime at all. So this should be a very interesting episode. If you, if you can see us, you'll see that Cooch just made a very interesting face. So yeah. All right. So what is everybody's experience with anime? Like, what are you guys a fan of it? Were you a fan, but not so much anymore? Were you not a fan and then you turned into one? Ow! I just bit my own tongue. Ow.
So,
Ow.
Yeah.
hmm.
So yeah.
Best way to explain this for me is probably going to be
Brother Ed.
Okay.
do you not get the reference?
Uh-uh.
Big
Right,
brother
bleeding.
Ed, big brother Edward.
Oh, it's probably because we couldn't understand what it was saying.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Let me turn it down then.
Big Brother Ed.
Okay.
Is that from
That
Full Metal Alchemist?
uh-huh. And
Is that the scene where the girl turns into the dog?
you mean the chimera where he takes the dog and the girl and goes
I don't
become
know.
one
Literally, that's all that I know about Full Metal Alchemist is that there's a scene where the mad scientist dad doesn't crossbreed. I don't know.
We're
Meshes
gonna
the
take
dog
them and put
girl,
them
and then it's
together. They're gonna
traumatic.
be girl dog.
What I don't like is that I wanted to get into that anime, and somebody, I'm not going to say who, somebody suggested that I start with that episode. And me knowing that
Aw.
sometimes, anime has a lot of filler episodes, so I figured they were telling me, avoid all this filler, start with this one. So I did.
Do I know
And
who this
saw
is?
it. I don't know if yeah, well, you've met them.
Okay.
Yes. And I was traumatized, and I decided not to watch the rest of that anime. So my opening exposure to that anime was indeed the whole dog girl thing, and I was like, no. And now you see it everywhere. You see it in memes. You see it in cosplay. Someone actually cosplayed it.
Full
And then
Metal
you see it on, like,
Alchemist Brotherhood, to me
Yeah.
at least, that is my favorite anime, hands down, out of all the animes I've seen. That is the one I can rewatch over and over again. I showed Jill it, and she loved it, just like Avatar. And I recommend going back if you can and watching it, and because that is the episode where it goes from, oh, this is a happy little anime, to oh this is dark, and after that it just starts being dark, but it's very, very, very good anime.
I mean, I could give it a shot. I mean, I've heard nothing but good things except for that part. But what about the rest of you?
Girl
Like, where do you stand on anime?
Um, I've tried very hard. I genuinely have tried very hard at multiple times in my life to get into anime, and I just can't do it. I've tried watching it dubbed as opposed to the subbed. Wait, nope, subbed as opposed to the dubbed. I've tried a bunch of different genres of anime. I've watched a good couple like anime movies. I even had like one of my friends, one of my old dungeon masters used to be super into anime, like had anime figures and like a tower and like super into anime. And I asked them, I was like, hey, I can't really get into anime. There's always something about it that just kind of makes me go, I don't really like this. Where should I start? Do you have some recommendations? He gave me a ton of recommendations. I got through like 3 of those recommendations, and then I was like, nope, it's just not doing it for me. But I have seen a couple of the classics. Like I've seen Akira, the one with the big blob and the motorcycle race. It's a famous one. I don't know if people make references to it. Really, nothing. Okay, I'll show you a picture later. You have seen it.
Yee!
Ah,
Yeah,
You
the
know what I'm
one
talking-
scene that is most popular is when the guy is walking towards the motorcycle from the bottom and it's going up and it says Akira at the bottom, or
Yeah.
the very, very famous scene where it's the super drift everybody references it, where it's a motorcycle or some other vehicle, but it started with Akira with his motorcycle, where he quick side drifts and he's got his leg out.
That was cool. It was cool. It was cool. I hated the blob thing, and the blob thing really made me hate the entire movie. Uh, but the movie, other than the main plot, it was a good movie. But yeah, so that's my experience with anime. I do really like Sailor Moon, and I do really like Avatar: The Last Airbender.
And what about you, Allie?
I used to be super into anime. Like the first anime I think I ever saw was actually Magical Card Capture Sakura, something like that.
Card
That was
Captor Sakura. Yeah.
There we go. Yeah, I saw that maybe when I was 3 at
Mhm.
my like babysitters. I'd be like, ah! And I would just immediately run over to watch it as soon as I heard the theme song. I had no clue what the hell was going on, but I loved it. And
Did you?
then, huh?
No. Go ahead.
Well, then Toonami came out, and I was old enough to understand that, and I got really into Sailor Moon, Dragon Ball Z, Tenchi
Mhm.
Muyo was my favorite, Gundam, Outlaw Star, I think it was called, Hamtaro, Zoids. I fucking
Hamtaro.
love Zoids. And then, I kind of fell out of it. Like, I was friends with someone who was, like, to this day, an anime nut. And I don't know, I just couldn't really stay into it. I mean, the porn's great. Um, I like Berserk now.
It's called
I don't know.
hentai,
I mean,
and it's art.
I don't know, because sometimes like it's really not art. The art isn't very good. It's just loops of bouncing boobies. And it's just like that's not even
Are you
really how
discrediting the
boobies look.
tentacles?
No, but even then it's just blip, 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 blip. Just the same like 3 frames over and over again of slimy
Mhm.
movement. And then all of a sudden it's like blip, blip. And that's how you know that was the money shot. Because all of a sudden it's just like eh, and that's how you know it's done. And now
Hey,
it's
so
from
you're
throat
telling me
to other places.
what you're telling me is basically, the good part when you hear.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh God.
No,
No.
but it's like I don't know. They're too formulaic for
Okay,
me at this
everybody.
point. It always starts with a blowjob, and then it goes on to some vag, and then sometimes it goes on to some butt stuff, and then you got all 3 going on at the same time. And
I
it's just
think
I
I
want some
think you're just
variety.
describing porn. Like I think it's just how porn works.
Emma, nobody asked you.
Okay.
But the main thing with porn, though, is at least like you hear the guy going, eh.
Really paying attention to him, to be honest.
The internet is for porn.
I'm sorry. I could never get into that because first of all, there's no real good gay hentai. And even if
there
there
is. It's in a
was,
pornograph.
okay, well, that is one oh my God, I know that one. I do know that one. But what I don't like is every other aspect of it. There's nothing but pixelated dicks, and I don't like that.
Yeah,
But
that's really hard to find one that's uncensored, or they
Mhm.
got a bush, and I'm not down for the bush.
So what you're
because
telling me
it's not
is
just a little bit of. It's like exploring the jungle.
Hey, I don't yuck your yum, okay? So
You're waiting
mean,
for it to
hey.
catch fire and hear the voice of God.
Just
Okay.
get some hairspray. Poosh.
I do
Alright,
have
well-
a side comment. Really quick though, just as a little side thing. I guess this is part of the reason why it's been so hard for me to get into anime is because we're starting talking about anime, and we immediately move into the hentai subject, and I feel like that is such a cool. And I probably am wrong, and obviously I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. I'm not an anime connoisseur of any kind, but at least in my experience, anime is inherently very sexualized. There's very heavy sexual elements to it, and I promise I'll let you go. I'm almost done. And yeah, so that's why it's so hard for me to get it. Go ahead, Ellie.
Emma, our very first episode together was about cryptids, and I talked about Mothman's ass.
Boom. Yes.
Okay. It is a good
Books.
ass.
and how he cheeks some
Books, I get
claps.
it, me too. I know, but like just with anime,
That
like
was you.
there's a specific, I don't know, air to it in almost like every
Mhm.
anime that you watch. That's part of the reason why I don't, or part of the reason why I do like Sailor Moon and Avatar so much is because there aren't any kind of sexualized elements to it.
Let me
Except the lesbian
well,
couple that's also cousins.
Okay, but they're lesbians and that's okay.
thank you, Dub.
Okay, but that's still
um,
sexual.
yeah, I mean, look, I want to step in on that
Lesbians
one because
fuck, Emma.
I can't say I can't say that you're entirely wrong. However, that is true of many different forms of entertainment, whether it be like Western animation or live action, comic
Sex
books,
sells.
even. Look at even in my favorite, the X-Men. We have Emma Frost showing everything but her nipples, and you have Psylocke, who's supposed to be a ninja up close combat, and she's wearing a bathing suit, a blue bathing suit and nothing else. You can kind of find that in pretty much everywhere. I'm not saying it's a good thing, but I just don't want to single out anime as being just that. I think the reason why anime sticks out the most is because anime is very much like in your face. All the characters have their emotions heightened to 11. Look, we were just talking about Usagi and Sailor Moon and how, or Serena, those of us who grew up with her in the 90s, and how she cries and like one of her first initial powers was she cried and her little things on her hair amplified the sonic waves from it. So it's very dramatic, very, very out there. So of course the sexual parts of it would be more in your face than other forms of media. But I do agree it's definitely there, even in non-hentai anime. But I can't say that that's something that it's like exclusive to, and I know you didn't say that. But I just want to put that out there for anyone who's listening, that we're not saying that that's anime exclusive. We know you can find sexualization in many different genres and media. Now
But
to answer,
but
oh, go ahead.
but did you know the father of anime or the godfather of anime or manga, Osamu Tezuka, the guy who made Astro Boy,
Mm,
after he died,
mm.
his daughter went into his studio and it was confirmed that he was a furry that was making furry porn.
Oh no,
Oh, okay.
not the furries. They're everywhere.
He had a
Hey,
little
hey,
mouse girl that he loved
no,
drawing.
we do not kink shame in this channel,
We
okay?
kink shame
I will.
furries.
Well, I
I
mean,
We
I
don't.
won't
kink shame
kink shame
furries.
furries. I just
I
say
don't.
you
You
can't
do
you
you.
can't do stuff with your bodily fluids. Certain bodily fluids shouldn't be sexualized. No poo poo or pee pee.
I We don't kink shame, but I don't disagree. To answer my own question, I kind of got into anime with the like some people will call them like the gateway animes. Is like those of us who really love anime now grew up in the 90s with like Sailor Moon, Pokemon, Digimon, Dragon Ball Z, and all that, Inuyasha and all that. So I grew up watching those and I really loved them. I also, I'm trying to think of Ronin Warriors as well. I liked all those anime, and as I got older, I kind of got over it. Don't like I'll still watch Sailor Moon to this day. I do love the new anime for it. I read them now. Is it manga or manga?
Technically, the correct pronunciation is manga.
Manga. Okay. Like I have the manga, the entire collection of manga for Sailor Moon. And I love comparing anime to it. So I still do that, but I'm not really into anime much anymore. I would like to be. I did watch like some Death Note, um, My Hero Academia because my nieces and nephews like it, so I watched a couple episodes. Didn't really care for it myself. Um, I did not watch Attack on Titan. That's another one that my nieces and nephews were really into.
Oh, I've seen that.
Excuse me. I have not, and I'm planning on giving it a try. But as of right now, the only anime that I watch is the new Sailor Moon anime. Other than that, like even Pokemon, I still play the video games, but I have not watched the anime except for recently when Ash's journey came to an end. Um, that's about it. I have not watched the anime of that in years, so I'm not much of a fan, but I am open to going back into that world.
Emma, I have the perfect anime for you to watch.
I've heard that so many times
Yeah, you're
though.
gonna go on Netflix after we're done
Yeah.
here, and you're gonna watch
Arcane.
It's called the Junji Ito collection.
Oh, that one's fun.
You know.
It's very fun. You'll love it.
Yeah, the way you said that made it sound like you were being sarcastic.
No.
That is a shitty
Allie, am I
got
being
on your face right
sarcastic?
now.
Is it not fantastic?
We like it because it's spoopy. He's like an Asian version of H.P. Lovecraft.
Oh,
Yes.
okay,
But-
that does sound
But
cool.
but he is a super
Right.
wholesome man in real
Yes.
life.
Oh, wait, is this the one that's like super body horror and like
Oh yeah.
body gore?
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, okay, yeah, I'm not gonna watch that. But yay! See, see, I like Lovecraft because like I can read it and like we're good. If I have to visualize it, it's gonna haunt my nightmares.
Did Colorado Space haunt your nightmares?
That was live action. It's different.
Okay.
I don't know how to explain it, okay? There's just something about like the things that you could do with a person in a movie that is entirely different from a cartoon or an anime. I suppose it's an animated character.
To give
Because you
you
could do
an idea, a lot of my friends who like Junji Ito's content, especially his mangas, they all have tryptophobia now. I'm not going to go into why. Allie probably knows why. But,
is that the one with the holes?
Uh-huh.
I have the opposite of that. I have okay, autism warning. The light is flashing. I had a rock. It was part of my rock collection. I still have this rock. It's like a pumice stone. I love this rock, and it's just filled with all these tiny little holes in it, and it's so good. And I like to like turn it around in my head, like run my fingers over the little holes, and it's so whatever the opposite of tryptophobia is, I got that.
One thing that's really interesting about anime is just how, quite literally, if you go to Japan, it's everywhere. Everything is anime in some way, shape, or form. Domino's has an anime. McDonald's has an entire successful series that is an anime. And I believe a lot of it is because a lot of anime they use is able to like reflect the national spirit and just the character that it has as a country and what it values. Um, at the same time, it can also be really dark. There is one that was referenced in Law and Order Special Victims Unit. His name was Rape Man. It is an
Oh, my.
actual manga and anime.
Dang.
And he literally does what his name implies. Like it's kind of like how there are many different genres of movies and books. Like there are books that we have that are literally like telling the story of like the darkest part of humanity. And manga and anime is also used to that effect in Japan. It's just another medium for them. And we single it out as anime because it's, you know, if it's made in Japan or any Asian culture now for some reason, it's deemed anime. If it is made in America, no matter how much someone wants it to be deemed an anime, it's a cartoon.
Avatar.
And
Avatar.
I thought that was still deemed
Nope.
a cartoon.
Nope. Japan recognized it as an anime.
Ah, there you go, though.
Where-
But then again, that's
Kus,
also there's
may I
always
ask
an
where-
exception.
Yeah, where did you hear that? Because I haven't
I
heard that until
that
you
years
mentioned it.
ago. Let me look it up.
What? That
Because I'm
there's
still
always
seeing-
that too.
Because
Or
I've
what part are
always
you talking
seen
about?
people about Avatar being recognized as an anime because I've still see debates online to this day of people saying it isn't. I mean I was very much it's not an anime. But again I could be wrong. But I mean I'd also love how
It
I
says
don't love how
despite-
sometimes. Oh, go ahead.
Well, I did a quick search and it says Solve 2024 update. Despite its name and seemingly Japanese origins from the characters, Avatar is not an anime.
Yeah, that's
Rather,
what I'm
Eastern
reading too.
philosophies led to the critical acclaim of many big inspirations of the show, and it was created by a team of American animators.
So we
Alright,
can
so
confirm
correction.
I was lied to. Avatar is not an anime.
Yeah,
My favorite
because-
anime is Sailor Moon.
But it's quite literally just because anime is Eastern animation.
Mhm.
Like, that's it. So every single time
Yeah.
someone says, I want to make an anime, what they're really saying is, I want to make a cartoon.
And that's another thing too. Is like kind of not to get too political, and I won't, but like, when you see this form of media that comes from a very specific place, a very specific culture, and then you are a huge fan of it, but then you want to make it yourself, it's not going to be anime just because you like anime, you like the art style and everything, and you're going to draw it in that way. It's more to it than just that. I mean, um, but yeah. So anyway, moving on from that. So for those of us who did like anime, what was your favorite anime growing up, and why?
Tenchi Muyo.
And why is that?
Boobies. But also it's because it was all aliens and like the fight sequences were really cool and I thought it was funny and I really liked the characters.
Can you describe the plot real quick, like a quick little description? Because I was given a DVD that involved aliens, and I think it's a series. And my friend didn't want it, so he just gave it to me, and I have yet to watch it, but I don't remember what it's called. But could you describe the plot to see if that's what I have on DVD?
So Tenchi Muyo actually has a few different plots because there is Tenchi Muyo OVA, Tenchi in Tokyo, and there's like a few other that I can't remember right now. Each one of them, it's one of the original harem animes where you have one guy, he's doing his thing, just trying to live his life, and he's got a bunch of chicks who want to fuck him. The two main ones are Ryoko and the other one is Ayeka. Ayeka is pretty much always a princess who is also technically Tenchi's aunt, but she's also like 900 years old. She has a sister named Tsunade who technically died in most of the stories, but now she has a goddess from their culture that resides in her, so she's able to live on, and she's pretty much going to look like that person at the end. Washu is a small childlike character who is actually an adult. In some versions, she is also a goddess from their religion. It's a part of a trio. In other ones, she's just a really smart chick. Ryoko is the one that can levitate, kind of angry, always shows off her tits. My favorite, spiky hair. In some versions, she is a space pirate. In other versions, she is a creation of Washu. And there's like a whole bunch of other stuff. But quite literally, it's just they all want to fuck this guy. And he just wants to live his life. I think he's gay.
I can't wait till your YouTube fan base finds out that you're in this podcast and they're just immediately just gonna start commenting on like every video, just titties.
Titties.
Okay. For me, my favorite anime was, and it still is, Sailor Moon. And I know some people that roll their eyes when I say that, but I'm like, I don't care. I mean, I'm wearing my favorite Sailor Senshi, Guardian, Scout, however you want to pronounce call it, Sailor
It's
Mercury.
your butthole. Oh. Who's Uranus? Is she the blonde?
Uranus is a blonde. She's the one with navy blue, short blonde hair.
Yeah, she's the other part of the lesbians, right?
Yeah, she's one of the lesbians.
She's my favorite. My favorite is Sailor in Your Butthole.
Dear God. Yeah, so I love Sailor Moon a lot. I loved the original 90s anime that was dubbed. I didn't really like it a lot when hold on, I'm getting a finger pointing up.
Allie,
what's going on?
How are you married? How are you married to a male?
What do you mean?
We're not getting into that right now.
The amount of really you also like titty.
Yeah.
They're pretty great.
They're fun. They're like tiny little pillows that you can just smush about.
All right, continue, Jose.
Bisexuals
if they're big enough,
exist,
they can
okay?
jiggle.
So so this is your favorite, Allie?
Yeah, I liked her the most. God damn,
Yeah, I'm
she
holding
got them thighs.
They all do.
Jesus
I'm
Christ.
holding up a figurine of Sailor Mars at the moment.
4 days. I was wondering when you were gonna say that was Mars. How could you be sleeping on my Jupiter girl though? Yeah, bring up Jupiter. Bring up Jupiter. That's my girl. That's my girl right there. And she's the tallest. She got the most legs out of all of them. Like, oh.
Yeah, I mean, I like the original. I like the original dub. But I do like Sailor Moon Crystal. That the newer anime because it follows the manga a lot more faithfully than the original anime did. And I definitely love the characters. I love that they each kind of stand for some, like, not stand, but represent something different. Like Mercury is the guardian of water and wisdom. She's the brains of the team, and I that's why I love her because A, water is my favorite element, and B, she's just super smart and awesome. Yes, Ali.
What was Sailor Eurectum's thing?
Being hot, eat pussy.
Oh my God. Okay, Sailor Uranus. Her element was, I think it's Earth because of her attack, world shaking and everything. But hers is the
I bet
sky.
it's
Her thing is the
air.
sky. It's well, technically air, I guess you could say, but it's more. Hers is sky. Neptune is the sea. Pluto is
She's
time,
Sailor
and
Toots.
and Sailor Saturn. Sailor Pluto technically still. Oh well.
Was she a
And
thing?
Sailor
No,
Pluto is
because
a
it's
thing.
so funny.
She was the guardian of time.
Oh my god,
She's
was she
like,
tiny?
oh, no,
What? No,
she's
she
really
was
tall.
tall. She was. I think she's about. I think she might be actually taller than Jupiter.
She was hot. She was tall and hot, and
She
ooh,
she was the
she's like,
only one of color. I mean, no, I'm
yeah.
wrong. They're all Asian, so they're all color. But like, she
That
was the only one that's
explains
say.
dark.
that explains why Pluto
Yeah.
stopped being a planet.
No, literally,
She's
because
dark. She's tan. Long green hair. Her color was black. Her suit was black and with garnet like accents.
Not who
And
I'm
she had,
seeing. The hell what?
in the
She
newer
ain't
anime, they don't draw her
colorful.
dark.
She's
In
green.
the wait, her hair's green.
This bitch is green. She is not of color.
What
That's
picture
like
are you
saying,
looking at?
This is literally like saying, hey, look at, I can identify as a minority because I got a spray tan.
not the spray
I'm
tan.
looking at the image of Sailor Pluto that she's looking at to see. No, see, that's from the anime. In the anime, they made her as light as everyone else, but in the original manga, she is dark.
Prove it. Show your work. Coots, include this as an edit.
Hold on.
Enhance.
I will say, while Jose's getting his work, it is interesting because Pluto is no longer a planet. Sailor Pluto is like
Is
off
she
in
bitter?
this. She's like off in this like weird area where she doesn't really interact with anyone. She's essentially like a guardian of this doorway where she never really
Gates of time.
interacts with anybody. Yeah, different time. And so
Yes.
she's
This
like
is her
she's
face
like
when
Guardian of
she
Gates.
found out she's not a planet.
off in a
Ugh.
different world.
All right, let me see it. Come on,
Yes.
let's go.
Hold on. I'm trying to find a picture of her.
Do, 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 do,
Well, here's
do,
her.
do,
Here she is, not transformed yet, but she's about to get her memories back. But
All right, let me get my my glasses here.
you can see that she's not drawn as light as the other. She's definitely dark.
Hey, yo, move it, move it. Oh, wait, bring it back. Bring it back.
Oh, for crying out loud.
Bring it back. All right. Okay, now move it. Stage right. Okay, yeah, she's wearing a skirt. That's fine. All right, I got what I wanted.
Okay. All right, but anyway, each
It was
guardian has a
weird.
different power.
It was weird from how you were holding it because it looked like it was just a bunch of legs and that she was naked in the previous panel. So I wanted to make sure the audience knew she was indeed clothed. Everything is
Yes.
kosher. Everything is
Yes.
fine. And I can confirm she has a Casca shade of color to her.
Thank you. But
she's a white
yeah.
bitch in the anime.
She is, and I don't like that. I don't like that. But anyway, so yeah, yes.
Oh, one thing about Sailor Moon that really endeared it to me. So I'm watching. I haven't finished it. I think I'm in like season 2 or 3. Season 2, I remember, was incredibly long. But I was throwing season 1 on in the background, just like doing something else. I was like, okay, this is just a cute little show. Whatever. Get to the end, the season 1 finale, where mild spoiler alerts for anybody who hasn't seen Sailor Moon and wants to go and watch it. They are going to fight Queen Beryl, I want to say.
Green Barrel, yes.
Queen Beryl, who's a super big bad and all this kind of stuff. And one by one, and it started with Jupiter too, and it broke my heart. The sailors start dying, like horrible,
Yes.
horrible, painful deaths.
Go on.
And I'm sitting there like, when is Usagi going to wake up? When is this going to be a dream? It's not. It's not a dream. She is watching her friends die in real time. And it just goes from 0 to 100 so fast. And it's so, and even though that sounds like it would be poorly written, it is so well written. And it
It
is
is.
so intense. It's so good.
How
Yes,
does
Sally?
Jupiter die?
She gets like impaled by like
What
an
about
ice
direction?
spike. Oh, she's not there yet.
The fuck?
Yeah, she's like season 2. She's like season 2.
Well, look, in Sailor Moon, there are the inner guardians, which include Mercury, Mars, Venus, and Jupiter for some reason, even though that's an outer planet.
Jupiter for some reason.
And and they are guardians of Sailor Moon, who's the moon princess. And then there's the outer
Ursula's
guardians, which are
host.
yes, which are off defending the planet, the system from outside threats. And it's a whole thing. But yeah, that one, I remember I first watched it in the 90s when with the original dub, and they actually edited it where they were not killed, they were captured. But
Oh.
if you watch the Viz dub, which I'm not sure that's what you're watching, the newer dub, they do get killed. Yes, Sally.
So I've done a lot of conspiracy theories, but I can confirm that the moon is not a planet.
Yes.
So why is she being watched by fucking planet women? And why isn't there a Sailor Earth?
A great question that I've had for years.
Sailor Earth, because in the manga, in the anime, only women can be Sailor Guardians, and
She's 14.
females, only females can be Sailor Guardians, and they, the Earth didn't have a princess; they had a prince, Prince Endymion, and while he may not be a Sailor Guardian, he does have his own crystal, the gold crystal. And the moon had Princess Serenity, Usagi, as we know her, or Serena, if you watch the 90s anime. And originally there wasn't a Sailor Moon when the Moon Kingdom ruled over everything. Um, and eventually when she got killed or killed herself, and then was reborn on Earth as Usagi or Serena, she eventually got her, her silver crystal, and she was able to become Sailor Moon herself, and she was protected by the princesses of the other planets. Because basically they were all royal, but she was like the moon people were like the overlords.
So what I'm hearing, Allie, is it's the hollow moon theory. It's proven
Well, what
true.
I'm hearing is even in a fantasy world where every other planet has a fucking princess, Earth still gets a cock in charge.
She's got a point.
Yeah,
And if I knew any other animes that I liked, no, I'm just kidding.
Can I get to my
favorite.
anime that I watched when I was a kid?
No.
Thank you. Okay, I'll shut up. Dead Man
your
Wonderland on Adult Swim in 2011.
So anyway, as we were saying,
So they also have colors, and no, I'm kidding. No, tell us about that anime.
Basically, this guy gets sent to a maximum security prison, and he did nothing. He's framed for basically a murder, and Dead Man Wonderland is what it's called. And everybody there, basically, it's a giant, fun little area to hang out with, and they play fun little games like who can rip the guts out of the other inmate faster, and who can sodomize this person first, and it's a really fucked up anime, but I love it.
So who was able to sodomize who first?
That would be a big guy who died in episode 2, who is like the size of a train.
Spoilers.
You know what, people are gonna watch Dead Man Wonderland.
You
know what, people are gonna watch it now. And then we're gonna have our 32 viewers be like, "Oh man, let's all go watch Dead Man Wonderland." Oh, Coot spoiled it. Never mind.
Who did he sodomize?
The main character.
Oh no.
Who's that?
A guy who was framed for murder.
Do you know his name, his measurements?
I can't remember his name. I can't remember his name.
His blood type?
General descriptions.
It's
probably A positive.
Listen, I kind of zoned that part out of the anime out because I was sitting there in like July in 2011 with just my mother home while my dad was in California, just being like.
So what I'm gathering from Dead Man's Wonderland is that guy's a scrawny little dude,
Mm-hmm.
and he's got an albino chick.
Yes,
with
I love her so
boobies.
much. She is hilarious and she's amazing because he does backflips and she kills so many people.
Why is she in a jumper?
Because that's technically supposed to be her crazy or insane suit, or what's it called? The
Straight jacket.
Thank you. And
I hate that I knew that so quickly.
It's a straight jacket basically, but she gets out of it because he's very flexible. And she likes rolling around the halls and killing people, and she chooses him because he's like, I like you. You're not like everyone else. I'm not gonna kill you. Yet.
Okay. Well, I mean, not the first anime that began with rape. Looking at you, Goblin Slayer. And
Never
Berserk.
watched it. Watched Berserk.
We should really put like a trigger warning on this.
I'm going to
We talk
basically
freely
have
about-
all of us be like the anime on the like in the thumbnail. Then just have trigger warning at the top of it.
Just replace the intro title, like instead of just saying Table of Geeks, just Table of Trigger Warnings.
I want a full body like shot of, not, and then like just have like my bottom half be pixelated. That's what I want.
All right, so you want a full body shot and just have the bottom half of you pixelated. Do you want me to add a big long brown streak going all the way to the ground and pixelate the shit out of it?
Yes.
Wait, what?
How do
Don't
you know what
forget, you
color it is?
also have to include a few very thin black bars that literally do nothing.
Yes. Yes.
Also,
Yo, that
you
is-
ever notice how in hentai,
Like we're
whenever they're
back in
doing that,
fuck it's not gonna be called the anime episode, it's gonna be called the hentai episode.
whenever they're doing that close up right here, you just get one thin black line over the entrance and one thin black line over the clitoris. It's like we want to make sure that because you can't find it, we too cannot find it, so we don't know what it looks like.
And that's what's
so
funny
here's
is-
a black line, so
is
we
that's-
don't have to
That's
draw
what's
it.
funny about it is like the fact of like in Japan, vagina is perfectly fine. The clitoris, no.
We cannot
No.
show you the clit because we don't know what it looked like.
Look at the image. I accidentally put it in general, but look at general and the image that I just sent.
This is gonna make people definitely want to come to our Discord.
Yes! Yeah!
Hang on, you get my phone to do it.
Oh wow, that one really pixelated. Yes, and the fucking lightsaber dick.
Thumb. I hate the thumb one. Like that is just. Oh my god.
It's like okay, you made it big, but I don't know what else is
I
going
can
on.
I can show this on the video, right? It's not actually.
Yes.
Yeah, you can show that.
Yes.
Yeah. Like I don't know if let's see if I can like. If I can get it to like.
Thumb is just glowing too much.
There we go. We got it.
Yeah. The thumb is not. I hate
We
that
got her,
censorship.
boys.
I'm like when I see that, I'm like, what the hell? Like what?
Because it's holy and special. You don't understand the power of the penis, despite
That's like-
being a gay man.
Hello, any
Magna dick.
hello, any of you Zoomers out there who are watching us. You see, we grew up in the dark time of the internet, where you look up how to plant flowers and you end up getting an anime chick stuffing flowers inside of her hoo-ha. That is how we grew up. There was no, like, regular thing. Everything was just straight up fucked growing up.
I was going to say we're stuck
Wow,
in that
is it
in-between
different?
area. We were stuck in that in-between area where it was kind of hard to find porn, so you had to wait until your weird uncle or your friend's weird uncle died and discovered that he had 50 pounds of porn books. And when you had to keep on checking because we didn't realize viruses were a thing.
Hey Coots,
Yes.
can I have a cleric character in D&D that is male that has a willy wang that glows like that?
Yes. I listen. I want to play a bard that name is Bill Joe, and he walks on the banjo. He's not cleric. He's a bard that plays the banjo, and he worships the god Dale Earnhardt.
Yeah, that'd be
Mhm.
good.
My parents were watching NASCAR when he died.
Oh.
Oh,
All of a sudden, it was like, everybody get in here! And here's the little Allie going, ah! What's going on? And they're just like, oh no, he died.
He
And I
took
was like,
another. It took a wrong left turn.
well, no. So I was not a very smart child. So there I am thinking, oh no, the car died.
Number 3's
Wow.
on fire. Help!
No, I literally believed in Cars before Cars was a thing because I didn't realize people.
No,
drove
Lightning
them.
McQueen, no!
Oh
So
my
that was my
god.
childhood.
All right.
We're all going to
Um,
hell.
Ciao,
so
baby.
yeah. So anyway, so what do you guys feel about the latest trend of turning animes into live action series on Netflix or whatever? Like I know Sailor Moon had a live action series in Japan. It wasn't on Netflix, and I didn't hate it. It wasn't great, but I didn't hate it. But what about you guys? How do you feel about live action animes? Like,
I did see the original Ghost in the Shell actual anime. Now that you mention it, and I'm thinking about this because of what you're talking about. And then I have not seen the live action they did with Scarlett Johansson, and I will not watch it because they should have fucking cast an Asian character to portray Asian characters. That shit pisses me off. There's no I get Scarlett Johansson's a great actress. Okay, cool, great, fine, wonderful. There are a million other movies that she could do that a white woman could fill that role for.
or
Okay,
the Dragon Ball Z movie?
that one I don't know anything about.
Well, they got a
So,
very white guy to play Goku.
Ah,
well,
Very
yeah. See, like
a
this.
very scrawny white guy.
that movie was. Oh my god, I think my husband was maybe the only person to buy a DVD of it. It was so bad. For the Ghost in the Shell one, I'd say that's kind of a gray area because it did get the seal of approval from the Ghost of the Shell creator. So it's kind of just like, are we being white savior with it? Or do we just have to say, we don't feel it's the best take, but because you created it and you approved it very well? Because when did the movie come out? 2016?
2000, yeah, 16 or 15 or something. And it wasn't 15 because 15 I was still in high school, so it was 16
Oh
or
my
something
god.
before 20.
7 years have passed. So they fully explain why she looks like a white woman, and they show what she looked like before that, which was an Asian woman. So in their view, and the fact that he said that I approve of it, I mean, you can't really say that he's in the wrong or
Did
that
he
it was a
approve?
bad move.
Did he approve the actress specifically, or was he approving of like the what is the word? How they redid the movie for live action, just in general, the
Both.
way that the movie was produced. Okay.
No, he gave his full seal of approval on the movie. He was like, "Yeah, no, that's great."
Because I
I
do
mean,
know with
I
Ghost in the Shell, she's like
go ahead.
basically a cybernetic sort of where like her body's all being
Yeah,
changed out.
her
So I get
body's
that.
fake.
I'm sorry, I've interrupted you twice now, Jose.
No, you're fine. No, with when it comes to that, like whenever people talk about things when it comes to like race, like when you talked about it should have been an Asian woman and it was played by Scarlett Johansson, who's obviously white. Um, I always find that people say, well, this person is of that race and they're okay with it, and I always gotta remind people like, look, like for example, I'm Latino, and it's like, but I don't speak for all Latinos. So if I was to create a story and people loved it, they bought the book, they saw, they want to see a movie adaptation. Someone gets the movie rights to my book that has a Latino main character, and they cast like Chris Evans to play the character. And oh god no, Chris Evans to play the character, and they
Did you just say, oh
don't.
god, no, to Brandon
Uh,
Fraser?
No, he just doesn't look like the character I have in mind.
I
Okay,
love Brandon
so
In
Fraser.
this fictitious setting.
in this fictitious setting, okay, I'm painting a scene here. Okay, let me paint it. So
You cook.
Sorry, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah.
I'm sorry that bothered you,
thank
Michelangelo.
you. I hate you so much. um, so and then they say I give my approval. I give my approval. Fine. Now I'm the creator, and if I'm okay with it, I'm okay with it. However, I will say that if my fellow Latino brothers and sisters are not okay with the fact that their representation was now taken away by casting a white person, whether I approve it or not, I can't say that they have no right to be upset about it. Because, especially with Asian, like you don't see that many main roles going to Asian actors. And this character was depicted with an Asian body in the original works, and it was taken. So yes, I personally was like, I think it's awesome that the person who created it gave the seal of approval. You know, I mean, like they should be able to do that. However, I'm not going to say that people don't have a right to be upset because, you know, they could have seen themselves represented in that, and then it was taken once again by a white actor. You know, and that's where I was like, you know, I understand that he or she, I don't know who wrote the thing, gave their seal of approval, but I don't think that exactly negates, like, tells people that they can't be upset by it. Now you can be upset all you want. Unfortunately, the powers that be made their choice. The movie was made. It was released. It, you know, it did its thing. But you know, like I said, and Scarlett Johansson was offered a role in something, and she took it. You know, so
So
I just want to let you know real quick. I just got a text message from the Italian government saying "fuck you" for putting dicks all over the 16th chapel.
Oh,
so
that took me way too long to
I
get.
know. I was waiting to see whose brain would click first.
It was
so
not
to
mine.
that point though, the audience in China and Japan and the Asian markets didn't challenge Scarlett Johansson
no.
being depicted at all.
Okay.
That's because they find westerns.
They are the
Yeah.
the majorities there, so they don't
Yeah.
care. So I think that's an example of where we are kind of super focusing on America being the world when it's not, because they don't care. We see Asians as a minority in North America, but in Asia, I mean, Korean dramas, Japanese dramas, every single movie, you look up a Korean movie, you're going to see nothing but Koreans. So, in that regard, because they are so focused on, I think in Japan, they said something where it's like 98% of them are Japanese. And another thing that I can
Japan's
say to that
fucking
is,
racist.
It is, you know, in its way. It very much is. China, I'd say more so because
Well,
they
yeah.
go out of their way to bleach. But in the original series, you cannot prove that Major's new body is Asian because it's not. She's a robot and she has very light skin complexion. And that can be said because anime kind of all looks the same. But when it comes down to it, the double lid eyelid and everything is something that is viewed as a beautiful feature. In China, a lot of the ways that people get their jobs, because there's so many people, is they try to look more beautiful. And one of those ways that was discovered in my high school class was one woman was trying to get a secretary job. So the one thing that she did was she got surgery so that she had a double lid. So that's why every anime character, unless they are like a darker skin tone, they could pass as a white person, they could pass as an Asian, but more than likely they do resemble a white person just because that's what they view as beautiful. There you go, she's blonde. But that's why in Asia, they don't care. They're completely fine. As like, one thing that is really hard to get across in Asia is saying a darker pigment of skin tone is also beautiful and should be accepted and should be allowed. You'll have a much harder time getting that through than having Scarlett Johansson play the lead role. They're going to say, that's wonderful. She did amazing. We don't care. We do because we're big on race. America is a mixing pot of cultures, but we need to realize that we're that way because we have such a diverse cast of characters. Asia doesn't. Africa doesn't really, unless you're in South Africa. Iran doesn't. And we need to realize that what upsets us doesn't upset the rest of the world that is also included and is able to give their opinion.
Right.
Now, for people who are upset, you can still have a right to be upset. It's
Right.
just also see the other side of it, to where it's that whole thing where I was like, you know, white knighting, because people love to do that. You weren't doing that. Neither was Emma. It's just we can't force our
Mhm.
view of something onto other people.
Right. Definitely, and I agree at that. Now, as someone who I've heard of the movie, I haven't watched it. I'm familiar with Ghost in the Shell. Now the source material obviously came from Japan,
Mhm.
I believe, right? Yes. So now the movie itself was made here in Hollywood, like in the U.S., right? Was it a U.S. production?
I believe, yeah, it's Paramount, so I believe it was made in North America.
Okay. So that's the only thing where I kind of like I don't disagree with what you said, Ali. I really don't. I agree with you. But my only thing is if the program is something that was US made, like for US audiences, I mean obviously you want the rest of the world to see it too. So I kind of feel like when it comes to that, you gotta kind of be careful because of your target audience. Like they pretty much are very much US centric. You know what I mean? When it comes to that. So I feel like that in that case, I'm losing my train of thought here. There's a lot of but yeah, like I feel like when you have something that's US that is US made by Hollywood or whatever for primarily a US audience, and I say primarily because movies are not only made for US, you have overseas markets that you have to consider as well. Like I feel like when we're the target and we are such a mixed bag of different races, colors, genders, and all that. When these people get upset about something, because you might have a girl who's of Japanese descent in the U.S. who obviously has never, yeah. So, really? Okay, cool, awesome. But who maybe never lived in Japan before, and they might feel a certain type of way, because but at the same time, going with what you said, that's because she lived here, where we don't put a lot of Asian people in movies, TV, and whatever. But has she grown up over there? That's probably all she ever would have seen on TV was people who look like her. So
I
I feel
do
like when it's
feel. Go ahead.
go ahead. No, go ahead.
I just feel like it is indicative of a larger problem outside of just the Ghost in the Shell scenario. Because when you have Hollywood, which is massive, it is the largest producer of movies in the world, which, yes, the Chinese studios are also huge. And then I also think that Bollywood in India is one.
Bollywood.
I can't remember if it's the second or the third as
Mhm.
largest, but those are the two other biggest ones. But the biggest ones by far, or the biggest one by far, is Hollywood. So when you have this standard of replacing characters of different ethnicities with white people, that is what needs to be challenged. So that's just my opinion.
Okay.
No,
'Cause
and your opinion is accurate. I'm saying, like, going back to specifically Ghost in the Shell, there was a reason for it.
Mhm.
I actually just saw. Apparently, it was actually a plot. Well, I mean, no, it was a plot point as to why Scarlett Johansson plays the lead role, or why a white woman in general would play it. Um, I'd recommend watching the movie just to kind of see how that goes. But it really is pretty much like how everybody is turning to technology to where you can be a completely different person than what you were born as.
Mm.
No.
Mhm.
But for your point with Hollywood, it is interesting because it kind of reminds me of the Star Wars situation where in China they got rid of Finn in China
I didn't
entirely
They
know
did.
from
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
the
they got rid of Finn.
posters.
Yep.
Yeah,
He's not on
he
there.
was not on
Really?
Yep.
there. Yeah. I think Rhea was also shrunk. There was like a few
Yes.
different changes, but yeah, Finn was completely gone because of race. So where
The
we
biggest
see
the
it
biggest two
as
things was Poe and uh what's his fuck? The lightsaber looks like a sword, plays bad guy.
oh
Kylo
yeah,
Kylo
Ren.
Ren.
yeah, like
Those are the two biggest
yeah, they
on the
got rid of
poster.
him entirely because China is racist. So where we're at least trying, is still like it's the same thing that happens every single fucking Pride Month, where you see the
Everybody's
American
pro gay, then the
version,
month ends and everybody's just like, oh, gays.
or you see it even during that month. You look at the Russian one on Twitter, and it's not changed at all because we got to appease Russia, man. We know that the gays aren't allowed there. So you know what I mean? It's a whole thing. Society is bullshit.
No,
We're
Yeah.
in the government.
I've been holding this back for quite a while because I wanted to talk about this. So I've noticed with anime, every single time they make a live action, or they make a live action adaptation, it's ass. But what I will say is, if they take an adaptation that already exists and make it into an anime, it's fucking awesome. If you haven't seen the Cyberpunk anime that's on Netflix, it's fucking
Castlevania
awesome.
too.
Castlevania. Like,
Castlevania.
there's so much they do really good job. What's it called? The
Parasite Grey is really good though. I have been enjoying that.
Helsing
Hellsing
Ultimate.
is also very good. Yeah.
I've
Well,
seen
let
the
me ask you real
abridged.
quick. Oh, good.
That was it.
Okay.
They're bringing
Well, let
in
me ask
the
you this, so
Salvation
those-
Army.
When you reverse it and you take something that's not anime and turn it into anime, like the examples that you two gave, are those done by like Japanese
Yes.
companies that they make the anime for it?
Yeah,
So it actually is
they'll
considered
ask
anime.
for it. They'll ask the company holder if they can make an anime out of it. Like the Cyberpunk one, they asked the guy who created the RPG, and he's 100% said, "Yeah, go ahead," and they did it, and it's great.
Because Marvel did this thing where they had a few others, including X-Men, a few other franchises, and they were made into anime. And I only saw the X-Men one because I am a huge X-Men fan. So I saw the X-Men anime, and it was good. It wasn't my favorite, but I kind of wonder, like, what is it that makes us say, "Oh, this is so good, this is so good"? Because the same exact story could have been told with like Western art, and it would have been the exact same thing. The only thing that in my mind that made it anime was the art style, which was so good. I love the art style that is in anime, and because it's not always the same thing, like but they follow certain similarities. But like you'll see, this one is more like realistic. This one is more cartoony. But other than the animation, it could have been done completely different. So what is it that attracts you to those adaptations of things that did not start out anime but were made into it? Like, what attracts you? What makes you feel like it's so good?
Like Cyberpunk, like it was a game. It's a tabletop RPG that turned into a video game. Video game kind of sucked ass. The RPG is fun if you understand how to play it, but it took the whole lore from the books of the RPG and from the game, and they made it into a living, breathing world that you get absorbed into. And they did such a good job at it, making you care about these characters and see, like, it's not like those like movies or animes like, we're gonna slowly explain this to you. Like, they just come out straight out of the game, like straight out of the gate, like calling people gonk and calling someone a what is it? My goodness, my brain's not here. But like, they use all the cyberpunk lingo, and they don't explain it. You just have to basically learn by just hearing it. Like, it's a very, very cool way that they did it. And same thing with, like, I would say, as Alex at Castlevania, they made one of the best anime storylines ever with Castlevania.
I have heard that one's
Castlevania-
fantastic.
Castlevania is so good.
And
So good.
but I wanted to mention something else too. Have any of you ever seen Rising of the Shield Hero? It's a more recent anime.
No.
Oh yeah, I'm
Never heard
such
of
an anime connoisseur. I've
So-
seen every anime
so-
ever, actually.
So the thing they do with I loved about this anime, the opening first episode, this guy gets sucked into basically a MMO. Basically, he gets sucked into it. Like, literally, he's inside of it now. It's not supposed to happen, but he is. And all the other people are gone. It's just him and basically real people now. And they go up, and you see this guy like, this is the king. He's like, I give you my daughter as your companion. Of course, she's way overpowered, kicking ass. And he's like, it's like, did the thing like, oh, she's really attractive, but then she's a bitch. And you see it. And the character calls her out on it and says, I'm going to request somebody else after we're done. I can't work with you. And she goes, okay, that's fine. My dad will love to hear it. And as soon as they go back to the court, she accuses him of rape. And he gets thrown in prison. And like, it's not that normal thing of like, oh, look at the guy immediately gets the harem. It's like it was. I loved it. There was such a flip on the head of the normalcy for anime.
And I kind of like that when they go against the more common tropes. When you have an anime or any media that does that, it's always like a fun thing to watch. One thing about anime that I love is that back when we talked about like back in our day like 100 times in this episode alone.
Back in our day.
But I remember like liking anime and stuff like that made you like a loser. You know what I mean? It's kind of like how I felt like back in the day. I was still am a comic book geek. I've been since I was a little kid, and that was like, oh, you're a loser. The X-Men, they suck. Batman, Wonder Woman, Superman, the Avengers all suck. Like that's so for little kids. And now you look at it nowadays, and like all these people, now it's the cool thing. Like, oh, what do you mean you haven't seen Avengers yet? What's wrong with you?
Our whole
And
thing growing
anime
up
was
is
very
just
much
culture norm now.
yeah. And now look at anime. Anime is it's everywhere. And you can go to any store, like go to the mall, go to any store, and you're gonna see something anime, some merchandise, book bags, anything really, toys.
Hot
You're gonna see
Topic
a lot
has
of
them.
pop vinyl, like FYE used to
The
be
FYE has, oh my
music
god.
and movies,
Yep,
and now it
it's-
is nothing but
it's
Japanese
pop culture.
merchandise.
When I went to Mexico
mean, like-
City, there was so much anime shit everywhere. Like it was all over the place. And apparently, I don't know about the whole, I don't want to say the whole of Mexico, but at least in Mexico City, it's huge. Almost everybody's into it. And you walk down the fucking street and it's just a giant movie poster for an anime that you're not going to really be shown in theaters in the United States, but it's there in Mexico.
It's like, Allie, remember me telling you about the FYE they had with the girl with the onion head, the eyeball that was in like the from the Junji Ito, where it just keeps being an onion. They have a minute. They have like a statue, like a little mini of her, and I want to get her so bad because it's so creepy.
But one thing I know is like, and this is true to pretty much any fandom, and I actually do want to do an episode talking about fandoms themselves, because there's a lot of gatekeeping. Like a lot of people will argue. I've seen full-on arguments, and I think it's stupid, so I don't get involved over the right way to watch anime, dub versus subbed.
I'm dumb.
And I've enjoyed both. Like I like Sailor Moon Crystal when it first came out. It didn't have a dub, so I would watch it subbed, and I didn't mind. I mean, granted, it's my day off. I don't want to read, but I didn't mind it. There's nothing wrong with it. But at the same time, I also don't see anything wrong with someone who doesn't want to have to read subtitles, because animes, the scenes go so fast.
Yes.
And sometimes you can't read, and you have to rewind it and be like, okay, what did they say? And I understand that not everybody can read as fast as like I can. So there is nothing wrong with watching a dubbed anime. The only problem I see with it is when it is not an official dub, so the translations are not accurate. And that's why a lot of like anime won't have, actual translations, and people will do it themselves. And I don't watch it on YouTube or anything because I don't know if what you're saying is accurate.
But abridged is good.
Yeah. So I feel like there's nothing wrong with a person who wants to watch it dubbed into their language. I've seen Power Rangers, which was based off a Japanese TV show, dubbed into Japanese so that people in Japan can watch Power Rangers instead of Super Sentai. And I'm like, what's wrong with that? Like I don't see an issue. Like I've watched things dubbed into Spanish, and it's, there's nothing wrong with that either. Like I don't think that there's an issue, and I guess by the nods I'm getting from you guys agree.
Yeah, there's like certain
I just
words
feel like it's a form of gatekeeping.
It's certain words you can't like. You can read the subbed all you want, but guess what? It's the exact same thing as the dubbed. There are certain words in Japanese that do not translate into English. So unless you were fluent in Japanese and you understand it, you're not gonna understand if they get something different. But if they did, that was already intentionally done by the creator with the American sub and dub.
Yeah, and the thing is, I think it's a lot of people gatekeeping because they want to feel superior because like, oh, I don't need to watch this dubbed. I'm watching it in its Japanese form, the purity of it all. Like, I'm like, dude, no one thinks you're cool. Like, seriously? Like,
you're watching anime.
Actually,
let's get back to Earth, please.
Like, I mean, let's not go that far. But I'm just saying, like, have yourself several seats. You're not cooler than me because you're watching the subbed while I'm watching the dub. Like, check yourself. Like, it's not that big of a deal. It's just a form of gatekeeping, and I can't stand that.
I view it because for English shows and movies as well, I also keep subtitles on because I have difficulty hearing sometimes. Like, and some people are just shit with their audio management. Like, oh my god, 1 minute you're too loud, the next minute you're too quiet. Now you're a mumbling bitch. Make
Allie,
up
what
your
are you
mind,
talking
stick
about?
to a
I don't get it.
volume.
True.
I'll watch a dubbed anime with the English subtitles. Like that's I
Yeah.
don't care. Those words are gonna
Literally,
be there regardless.
Only thing I hate is when the subtitles don't match what the dubbed person is saying. But I hate that with any show, and that's just because I get annoyed because I'm expecting them to say one thing and then they're not. But when it comes to how people watch something, fuck out of here. Just let them enjoy it. Like, bitch,
Exactly.
please. You're not special just because you can read, or you're not special because you know what the fuck they're saying.
You know, and I think,
Congratulations,
yeah,
you're enjoying a
exactly.
media.
Exactly. And I'm like, instead of being able to meet someone who actually likes the same anime you do, and you can talk about, oh, did you like this scene? Oh, did you like that character? What do you think of this and that? And instead of being able to enjoy yourself and have like awesome conversations, you're gonna be like, oh, you watch it dubbed? Get out of here, weeb. Like, it's not gonna, like, it's just, I can't stand it. Like, I can't stand keeping of any kind. Like, if you come into this and you enjoy it in this way, we're still enjoying the same shit. Like, the same thing happened. This character died the same way, whether you're reading it or listening to it. Like,
Oh no, you
So
didn't hear.
basically,
Sorry, good.
basically what we're saying is you're not unique or special. You're watching a cartoon.
Oh no, you're watching Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood and you can't hear Travis Willingham's voice playing Colonel Mustang. Oh no, it's only a
it
great
was like Colonel
dub.
Mustard.
No, Mustang.
Now,
I
to
will-
be fair though, if you are deaf or illiterate, do the best with what you got, my guy, girl, they, them.
Mhm.
Try your hardest.
Yeah.
Human being. I will say, like we were talking about with languages, for example, with and this isn't an anime; it's just an animated movie. But Coco, the Disney movie that came out a good couple of years ago, I've seen it in English and I've also seen it in Spanish. I do prefer the Spanish version because it's genuinely better. The things and the way that things are said, the way that the songs are written is more poetic and more beautiful. And so I do think, like with anime, you do have those things, but again, if you don't fluently speak Japanese, you're not going to get to those things anyway. So it's almost like just watch it
I'm
both
sorry,
ways.
Emma. Maybe you should better yourself then. If you
Yeah,
can't
for
speak
real.
fluent Japanese like
Get on
me.
Duolingo already. Come on.
Konnichiwa.
But it's almost like you can kind of just watch it both ways, honestly, because so with Sailor Moon, if you watch the dub, you're gonna get some cousins, and if you watch the sub, you're gonna get some lesbians, and it's the same show, but there are going to be minute
I want
differences
the
between the two.
lesbians.
Can we, Ali? Did you
Huh?
watch the original dub of the anime of Sailor Moon in the '90s when they were
Yeah,
cousins?
I was like 4. I couldn't even read yet.
But they were so creepy because they had Neptune and Uranus doing some stuff like to show intimacy that was so creepy because
And
they
they're like,
made
no,
them
they're cousins.
cousins.
And it's like,
I'm like, but why are they holding hands like that? Why are they looking at each other like that?
you know
Why
what
are
the
they?
best part is,
wha-
though? In Japan, they would still not care because cousins can get with cousins.
Me and him were like, "Hey, look, it's
Oh.
what's going on outside."
I did not
right
know
here,
that.
It's the,
cousins.
we live in the deep south,
Yeah.
all right. Like I wouldn't have been weirded out by that.
We're
Anyway.
both used to it. We're not going to be weirded out by that shit.
There are
Unfortunately.
Yeah,
a
yeah.
lot. There are a lot of animes where, when you watch them subbed, you discover a lot of the main love interests are the cousin.
Mm-hmm.
I did not know that.
Yeah. So your rectum is still her love, no matter what. And nobody cares.
Maybe it was a mistranslation. Maybe they were cousins
No,
originally,
they were
and they
quite
just like,
literally
No,
trying to say it's not lesbians because they're
oh
cousins.
no.
And then it's just
You
like,
can't be gay. Like, gay is wrong, apparently. Yeah, no,
Oh,
they,
now
the
we're going to make them
90s.
Gay. Now we're going to make it twice as bad. Now they're gay and they're related. Yeah.
How about that incest though?
Yeah,
There's
yeah,
I found there's a
sister.
lot of
I mean,
incest in it.
it's okay in Game of Thrones, but it's not okay in Sailor Moon. Like, come on.
It was not okay in Game of Thrones. Actually, wait, I'm thinking about Jaime and Cersei. That's not even talking about the Targaryens.
The
Never
things
mind,
I
you're
do
right.
for love.
I mean, I was still kind of for Jon Snow and Daenerys because I mean, I like.
Yeah,
They
ew.
did okay.
I
I was-
called. She was
Whatever, half of my
crazy.
family is just like, oh yeah, that's your cousin. That's fine.
Let's say her cousin
Yeah, someone
Bobby. You
tried
see,
telling
his
me-
mom's dad is actually his grandpa's sister.
They are in Japan, Jose, before you say something smart alecky. Go ahead. Go ahead and
Go
culture
ahead.
shame.
Say some things about some.
It
Are
wasn't
you gonna call me
Japan. Oh my god.
Go ahead, Jose. You're
This-
already
this-
amping up.
Oh, I love you, Allie.
Like, you're saying to me? I would never say that, okay?
I love how
will
I'm gonna
say,
bleep out all of
yesterday-
this, so it just sounds like you're saying such horrible shit, like the worst we are.
Yesterday,
Just put some
I
thin
will
bars
say,
over our
You
mouth.
could be a beater in one
Did it-
episode.
I'm not gonna
will
blur
say,
that though. I'm not gonna bleep
I
that.
went to Sam's Club, and they did have a 25-pound bag of rice, and Andy had to drag me away from it because I was like, "Damn, that's some good rice."
So what you're telling me is
Yeah,
if
I'm
vampires
not
are rice
Japanese, and I
pickers,
probably would have gone after it too.
are
You're
vampires
talking
technically
too
rice pickers?
fast. You need to slow
Read
it
this-
down.
Read the subtitles then.
You don't have any. I don't know if you're speaking Spanish, English, and auto is just gibberish.
No.
That's racist.
What? Say that you were speaking Spanish? You're the one that says you're Espanol.
Ooh, that means Spanish.
No,
I
like,
know that one.
I feel like Allie's using her 25% Asian to attack us.
You said, well, us? We're not in this, buddy.
Only white
That's
people
true.
actually
We're
say
white.
percentages.
We're not actually
Thank
scared.
you.
We're white.
25%, 8%. That's because of everybody wanting to be Native American. I am 1/36th.
I am not
Native
native at all, but I
American.
am 2% black, so I mean, there's that.
You see, white people are the only ones who use percentages. Just say you got black in you. That's okay.
see, there was a I think it was College Humor or whatever. They did this thing where this guy tried to say all the things that he liked and whether he can call himself Asian or not, and they would tell
have
him.
the
and-
panel.
Yeah, the panel, and then the scene ends with the guy says, "Oh, I'm like 20% black," and the panel was like, "You're black." So, yeah,
Mhm.
I agree with that.
The Asian one, they're
Uh,
going through all the bells and whistles. The one guy's like, I got like a black grandfather. You're black.
You're black. But anyway, about the cousins, like I was gonna say, it wasn't Japan that made them cousins. It was America
Yeah,
to
very
try to
much was.
censor the gayness of it. So,
So now it's incestually gay.
So, should we
which
do
I
an
feel more
episode?
okay with that.
Should we do an episode on the South? Like, if we like talking about incest this much, why not make it a whole episode?
It's
Am I talking about
not-
incest?
Here's
This
a
is-
real question.
Oh God.
Is it as bad because they are gay? Because they can't produce a baby together? So is it that bad?
I've had that question asked of
Alabama
me.
God?
Like
Is that a
they're
problem?
like, "Would you date your
Emma.
cousin? You can't make kids." I'm like, "I would still
Transcest-
not
Is it
date my cousin."
morally wrong
Emma,
to
translate.
look up twin
Alabama God.
brother porn?
When
Brother.
It's called the Hayes Code, is what it is. The
that?
HAYS code. It was I'm trying to find the dates for it, but it was basically like a self-regulation thing for Hollywood that they came up with during the Roaring '20s. It was adopted in the '30s, and that's one of the reasons that you can't, like, for a lot of things with that have homosexuality in them, it was just completely censored out because they considered it inappropriate to be put on screen. And I think recently they've been kind of like, actually, maybe fuck that. But that is part of why it is so difficult to find. Oh, that's also side note. That's why you find a lot of queer-coded villains, because that was the only way that they could actually put
Mhm.
any kind of homosexuality into movies. So like Ursula in the
Ursula's
Disney's,
a drag
uh,
queen.
yes, she's literally based
Divine.
off of a drag queen. But
Divine.
yeah, fun fact.
All right, we are now over time. Do you want to do a send off for us, Jose?
Oh, this has been anime, hentai, incest,
Racism.
racism.
There was a large section
Um,
of that, yes.
Yeah. An episode. I hope that you guys enjoyed it, find it entertaining, and let us know if you want subtitles in future episodes, because apparently that's important.
No.
Just
I want
remember, Jose
subtitles.
called me a
No.
slur.
As the editor,
You called me
no.
a slur first. But
When? When?
luckily for you, the audio
it.
was lost in that episode.
Prove it. Show your work.
There are no receipts anymore.
There are no receipts.
No. Actually, the slur came out of your mouth, so technically you were dubbing me. So, anyway,
When did I refer to you as anything insulting?
not
and
no.
choose
It was
your
not.
words carefully.
I actually like that accent. Okay.
Same. You
Thanks.
do a very
Call my
decent.
voice.
You do a very decent villain accent.
All right, let's all say goodbye, everybody.
Hola.
Adios.
Did you say hola? What did you say? Okay. Tschüss.
Sayonara.